Welcome to the BettingPros PGA podcast. I'm Pat Fitzmaurice here along with Bo McBrayer. Today we'll preview the most unique event on the PGA Tour calendar, the Zurich Classic of New Orleans. It's the PGA Tour equivalent of tag team wrestling. Bo and I will share our favorite bets with you. We'll also make our one and done picks at the end of the show, and we'll start with a quick recap of the RBC Heritage and the other PGA Tour event last week, the Corales Puntacana Championship. Justin Thomas wins the RBC Heritage. JT finally ended a 3-year dry spell. He hadn't won since the 2022 PGA Championship. Thomas now has 16 wins on the PGA Tour, but he had played 58 consecutive events without hoisting a trophy. That's not an unusually long dry spell for a lot of the players on tour, but Justin Thomas established himself as a star early in his career, and he played like a star this past week at Harbour Town. Thomas surged out to a lead with a 61 on Thursday, and then he just kept grinding on a course that was playing firm and fast all week. JT trailed Siwoo Kim going into the final round. Siwoo had gotten to minus 15 with some lights out golf over the first 3 days, but Siwoo Kim fell out of it with a 74 on Sunday. Maverick McNeely also fell by the wayside. Brian Harman tried to make a late charge but couldn't sustain it. Andrew Novak, however, battled Justin Thomas tooth and nail all day. Novak had finished tied for third at the Valero Texas Open 2 weeks earlier. The North Carolina native continued to stay hot in South Carolina. His 17-foot birdie putt on number 16 got him a share of the lead, and the Novak had an 8-foot birdie attempt for the win on the 18th hole, but missed it left. In the playoff, Novak couldn't sink his 34-foot birdie try, and then Thomas rolled in his birdie putt from 21 feet to earn the victory. JT had also rolled in a 24-footer for a key birdie on the 15th hole. He had his putter working Sunday. His putter was not always working during that long victory drought. Bo, your thoughts on a slump-busting win for Justin Thomas?
Well, it's finally happened. We can check that off of our little list of things that should have happened this season. Rory McIlroy winning a green jacket. Now JT ending his nearly 3-year slump of not winning. He wasn't really playing that poorly by most people's standards, but his first win in a couple of years, that's big for him. And it's kind of what I said was going to happen this season. When we kicked off this season, I had high hopes for Justin Thomas, and he's just too good of a golfer. He's too good at winning for that drought to continue past the season. And so even though I didn't bet on him to win this particular tournament, I could see it happening. I wasn't in love with the odds that he was getting, but it turns out if you're going to win, you're going to win. It doesn't matter what the odds are.
Yeah, it seemed only a matter of time for a guy who, was just too good to be missing the FedEx Cup playoffs and not making the President's Cup team last year. And this guy should be consistently one of the 20 or 25
with his iron
before.
play, especially with short irons, that played really well on the Pete Dye course that week. And he's kind of been slumping off the tee and with putting. Of course, he went from 179th putting to 40th this season. That's a huge difference. And obviously putting goes more into your score than anything else. So if he could be neutral off the tee, and as well as his putter's been working this season, it shouldn't be any surprise at all that Justin Thomas is back in the winner's circle and now sporting a nice trendy plaid jacket from the Heritage.
Yes, sir. And that putter did indeed work well on Hilton Head Island this past weekend. And we should quickly touch on the other event on the tour last week, the Corales Puntacana Championship in the Dominican Republic. The RBC Heritage was a signature event with a small field. So the Corales Puntacana was open to the hoi polloi of the PGA Tour. Garrick Higgo wins that event. The 25-year-old South African shot an even par 72 in a windswept Sunday in the Dominican Republic. Higgo finished one shot better than Alejandro Tosti, who shot a 68, which we were talking about this before the show, but what a great round, as windy as things were on Sunday. Keith Mitchell, Jeremy Paul, Michael Thorbjornsen, and Joel Damon also in that multi-way tie for second place, one shot off the lead. Really rough finish for Joel Damon. He came into the final round with a 3-shot lead, but shot a 4 over par 76 on Sunday. He bogeyed his last 3 holes, and that included a missed 3-foot par putt on the par 3 17th.
What can we say? It was rude.
Golf is hard.
It was less than 3 feet. and it hit some little tiny impediment halfway through the putt and kicked it left, which still hit the lip and horseshoed around. So yeah, Joel Damon got robbed on that par putt on 17, and of course completely fell apart and lost that tournament. But how about Michael Thorbjornsen and Alejandro Tosti, two guys on my card that didn't quite make it past the Garrick Higgo storm? Higgo played some amazing wind golf, because Saturday was even windier than Sunday in the DR. So it was a pretty impressive win for the young South African.
Now we'll get to the Zurich Classic of New Orleans in just a moment, but first,
download the free BettingPros app for iOS and Android. With Sportsbook Sync, you can automatically track your bets across all major sportsbooks in one spot. Easily monitor your bet performance by sport and bet type, including game picks, props, and parlays. Go ahead and create your custom betting systems to find winning trends and profitable opportunities. Get your free trial of BettingPros Premium by downloading the app at bettingpros.com/apps and activating your trial on the upgrade screen.
the Zurich Classic of New Orleans is a two-man team event. It's been a team event since 2017. There are 80 teams in the field. The first and third rounds are best ball, with each two-man team taking their best individual score on each hole. The second and fourth rounds are alternate shots. The field is cut down to the top 23 teams plus ties after the first two rounds. The Zurich Classic will once again be played at TPC Louisiana and Avondale, Louisiana. It's a Pete Dye course, and some of these guys are playing a second straight Pete Dye course after playing Harbortown last week. It's a par 72, measuring 7,425 yards. You know what you're going to get on a Pete Dye course. It's target golf. Iron play is going to be pretty important. The fairways are fairly generous at TPC Louisiana, and the rough isn't all that penal. There's a lot of sand, more than 100 bunkers. The greens are Bermuda, and they tend to be a little smaller than average. The weather this week should be pretty agreeable. Temperatures should be in the low to mid 80s every day, with minimal chances of rain, and winds in the 5 to 15 mile per hour range. The defending champs are the Irish Assassins.
I thought that
Rory
was us too.
McIlroy.
I thought we were the Irish Assassins. When did this happen?
If only. Rory McIlroy and Shane Lowry, those two good friends, teamed up to go 25 under par last year and beat Chad Ramey and Martin Traynor in a playoff. In 2023, Davis Riley and Nick Hardy went 30 under par to win by 2 strokes. Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantlay won in 2022, and Aussies Cameron Smith and Mark Leishman won in 2021. Bo, how do you approach this event with your betting strategy? I mean, it's obviously a quirky format because of the two-man teams. Course fit might be a little less important because of the team component. What are you looking for when you're odds shopping at the Zurich Classic?
It's kind of like what you just said at the last line. Odds shopping. I did run a model. It didn't carry as much usefulness as I expected. This is a team event, so even a match play event would be easier to gauge based on performance, but you're combining the performance of two golfers, and you're also having to consider how well their games and styles of play complement one another. So it's basically, how do I approach this event for betting strategy? I put my blindfold on and I do it on vibes. So I'm gonna bet on a couple of guys that are riding hot as a team. Maybe not the most obvious teams, but they're both playing well right now. I have a couple guys that are best of friends, and I have a couple guys who are just simply their styles complement one another very well. So I guess we're gonna try the buckshot approach and see what sticks.
Yeah, I tend to bargain hunt at this event, Bo, because you tend to see some unexpected duos
For
contend
sure.
and even win
Like
sometimes. I
Ramey
think
and Trainer last year, nobody thought they could hang with the Irish Assassins.
yeah, exactly. Ramey and Trainer took those guys to a playoff. I think Davis Riley and Nick Hardy fit that description 2 years
For
ago.
sure.
We have gotten some chalky winners in recent years, but we've seen some oddball contenders. So I definitely don't want to place a lot of bets this week, and I kind of don't want to eat the chalk here. But the one filter I always use at the Zurich Classic, Bo, is this: are both players capable of winning the lesser events on tour? the Mexico Open, the Corrales Punta Cana Championship, the Puerto Rico Open. If a two-man team has a player who's probably not capable of winning one of those events, I'm not investing. And it sounds like a low hurdle to clear, but establishing that threshold does eliminate about half the teams in the field from
Yeah,
betting
the
consideration.
field strength is not great. It's even weaker than it was last year when Rory and Shane won.
Yeah. So, all right, let's get to the odds. We've got the defending champs, Rory McIlroy and Shane Lowry. Not surprising, they are heavy favorites at plus 360. Next up, Collin Morikawa and Kurt Kitayama at plus 1200. At plus 1800 are the teams of Robert MacIntyre and Thomas Dietrich and Keith Mitchell and JT Poston. Taylor Moore and Wyndham Clark are plus 2000. Andrew Novak and Ben Griffin are plus 2200. At plus 2,500 are Billy Horschel, Tom Hoge, and Aaron Rai, Sahith Theegala. Twin brothers Rasmus and Nicolai Højgaard are plus 2,800. And at plus 3,000, we have Max Greyserman, Nico Echavarria, and Bryce Garnett, Sepp Straka. Bo, are you eating the chalk with Rory and Lowry at plus 360?
I am not. I'm going to let the Irish Assassins maybe go back to back. I don't know how much energy they each have after Master Sunday, even in the wake of that momentous win for Rory McIlroy. I understand that he and Shane are best friends going back to their junior golf days, and that they're probably going to have some really good chemistry trying to go back to back. I just don't know that plus 360 is worth the investment in this type of event, regardless of who it is. And so I'm just going to skip them and hope they win. And if they don't, then I hope that one of the people that I am betting on wins, because I will be rooting for them. I just don't know that the juice is worth the squeeze. Out of that whole group, there's only one pair that I will be betting on, and that is the red hot pair of Max Greyserman and Nico Echavarria. They are 30 to 1.
Tell me more.
And they're both just scorching hot. Nico Echavarria has been chasing leaderboards all season. Whether you paid attention or not, the kid has game. Nico Echavarria, bomber, great power, great birdie making ability. And Max Greyserman's got a great short game to go along with a really decent iron set. I think that's a really good pair of guys that were each playing top golf. And going back to your little filter of, can both of them win a lower level PGA Tour event? Absolutely. Greyserman and Echevarria is the pair in that tier that I'm paying very close attention to, 30 to 1.
Yeah, and you get a better price on them than with the duo that I'll spotlight here, Keith Mitchell and JT Poston.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of an interesting combo. I mean, Mitchell just finished second in the Dominican Republic. He's posted 3 straight top 20s, and he finished 4th in this event in 2021, 6th in 2023. Poston just finished 11th at the RBC Heritage and hasn't missed a cut all season.
Yep.
So that seems like a pretty steady duo. We know, like, Mitchell is Mr. Thursday. That guy seemingly always gets out to a fast start.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'm intrigued by them. I don't blame anyone for wanting to eat chalk with Rory and Lowry. Rory's won 3 times this year. He's the defending champ, he and Lowry. And, Lowry's a really capable partner, but plus 360, just not a great price. No interest for your guy, Kurt Kitayama, paired with one of the better ball strikers in the world, and Collin Morikawa.
Well, it's funny that they're paired again together. They have the same style of game. They're both outstanding ball strikers off the tee and with irons. I don't know who's going to make putts between the two of them. I don't like. They're going to have to be lights out on both ends, especially in the alternate shot, where if one of them gets into trouble, how are they going to recover and make good scores on this course, which is not a pushover. TPC Louisiana it's a real big boy golf course that will yield birdies if you're hot. But last year we saw it. It was more like, okay, they can get the fairway and they can get on the green, but who's making a putt between the two of them? I don't know. Plus 1,200 is an off limits type of line for a team that has a lot of potential, but I just don't know how they're going to make enough birdies.
Especially when you consider that Morikawa's best finish in 4 Zurich Classic starts is 23rd.
Right.
And Kitayama's never finished better than 19th in 3 starts. I'll just mention 3 other teams real quickly. Taylor Moore has 2 4th-place finishes in this event in the last 3 years, and his teammate Wyndham Clark has finished 10th and 3rd in his last 2 Zurich Classic appearances. Neither one comes in red hot, though. although they've both been in pretty decent form this season. Robert MacIntyre and Thomas Dietrich, good players who teamed up to finish 8th last year, but neither's been in great form the last couple of weeks. And Bo, I want to like the Hojgaards. You'd think identical twins would make a good team, but Nicolai Højgaard isn't. He's missed the cut in 4 straight events.
Yeah.
So, could he win the Puerto Rico Open or the Corrales Punta Cana the way he's playing right now? Probably not.
No.
So, all right, let's look at some of the teams with mid-range odds. We have a big group at plus 3,500. Thorbjorn Olesen and Matt Wallace, Ryan Fox and Garrick Higgo, Jesper Svensson and Nicholas Norgard, Akshay Bhatia and Carson Young, and the Canadian duo of Nick Taylor and Adam Hadwin. At plus 4,000, we've got Michael Thorbjornsen and Karl Vilips, Alejandro Tosti and Joe Highsmith, and Lowry Cantor and Jordan Smith. At plus 4,500 are Joseph Bramlett, Alex Smalley, Rico Hoy, Sam Ryder, Max McGreevy, Sam Stevens, brothers Matt and Alex Fitzpatrick, and Jonathan Vegas, Kevin Yu. And finally, at plus 5,000, Jacob Bridgman, Chandler Phillips, Eric Van Rooyen, Christian Bezuidenhout, and Doug Gim, Chad Kim. Do you like any of the teams from this clump, Bo?
A couple of them, yeah. Actually, we'll be betting on 2 of those pairs from the plus 4,000 group. I love that Stanford duo of Michael Thorbjornsen and Karl Vilips, where even though their form has been kind of spotty, that's what you would expect from a couple really young golfers on their first couple of years of the PGA Tour. Between the 2 of them, they absolutely could storm right through any lower level PGA Tour event, even a full size level PGA Tour event. From what we've seen, their upside and working together, they're obviously teammates at Stanford. They know how each other ticks. They have complementing styles too. I'm going to take plus 4,000 and ladder it with the Thorbjornsen Vilips crew, because I think if they get hot, they might run away with this thing in a big hurry. This is the kind of pair that could win this thing by 5-6 shots. And then right after them, Alejandro Tosti and Joe Highsmith, both playing great golf and the polar opposite style of golfers. So I can kind of see a stylistic complement there. Tosti bombing it out there and gouging it out, and Highsmith just making every putt that he sees. Joe Highsmith's putter is going to keep this pair in contention, and Tosti can reach places that pretty much nobody else in this field can reach besides Rory. So I can really see that team being a volatile but fun to watch pair.
Yeah, I want to like that team. I'm just a little worried that Highsmith is coming off a pretty bad performance last week. But Thorbjornsen and Vilips, interesting for sure. Since Vilips won in Puerto Rico, he hasn't played all that well. 3 missed cuts and a 54th since the win, but he could get it together in a hurry, Bo, and you have been all over that guy this season. Garrick Higgo coming off the win. And his partner, Ryan Fox, was 4th here a year ago. So they're somewhat interesting. Nick Taylor has been really good at this event for whatever reason. He was runner-up 2 years ago. He has 3 top 10s in his last 4 trips, but he's paired with Adam Hadwin, who just hasn't played well at all.
Adam Hadwin can't find the ocean right now.
Oh, man. I know. Ever since, I think, Phoenix Open was like his last good event, and that was more than 2 months ago. So yeah, I just can't get there with Nick Taylor and Adam Hadwin, the Canadian duo. How about long shots, Bo? Are there any under the radar teams that could surprise us?
Yeah, I like a couple of them, but the one that I'm definitely going to bet on is the Team NorCal. It's a couple of young guys who have both showed high results this season, and they're each in their rookie season on the PGA Tour. Both guys from NorCal, and that's Isaiah Salinda and Kevin Velo. They're both going at 100-1 as long shots. They're both super young rookies on the PGA Tour. They're both from the Bay Area. I can definitely see some fireworks, because we've seen Salinda especially push the top of some very strong leaderboards. And then Velo, surprisingly, in some of the offshoot events, has showed a lot of upside with at least making birdies. So they're going to be an aggressive type team. Will they kind of hold it together enough to make the cut? That's what I'm hoping, because if they make the weekend, they can make some noise.
There's one other team I sort of like at longer odds: William Mouw and Ricky Castillo.
Yep,
two good young players who, if they are paired together in this event 5 years from now are probably going to be more like 25 to 1 or 30 to 1. Right now they're 80 to 1.
Yeah.
So I'll take the discount on youth.
Yeah.
So all right, Bo, let's compare our early betting cards. Who's on yours?
So I have the pair of Max Greyserman and Nico Echavarria at 30 to 1. I have the full ladder every way betting with Michael Thorbjornsen, Karl Vilips at 40 to 1. Alejandro Tosti and Joe Highsmith at 40 to 1 as well. And then Team NorCal, shout out Isaiah Salinda, Kevin Velo, 100 to 1.
I'm going really light this week, Bo. I've got dozens and dozens of NFL draft bets to track this week, and I'm also dabbling in the NBA playoffs. So it's going to be light on this week's betting card. It's going to be Keith Mitchell and JT Poston at 18 to 1, and William Mouw and Ricky Castillo at 80 to 1, and that's going to be it for me. Now for our one and done picks. You took Russell Henley last week, Bo. He tied for 8th, good for $580,000. I had Patrick Cantlay. He tied for 13th, good for $364,000. Decent showings for both of our players in a signature event, but you extend your lead.
You did miss the cut by default. That's good for you.
Exactly. I made the cut. So, I'm either over 200,000 or a missed cut, one or the other. Go big or go home. You're up first this week, Bo. Whichever team you use, both players will be unavailable to you the rest of the way. Yeah. Which tandem are you taking?
I guess I'll burn my young guns here. I'm going to go with the Thorbjornsen Vilips pair.
Oh, nice. I'm going to go with the Mitchell Poston combination. I don't think I'm going to be regretting not having either of those guys available to me.
You didn't use later events during the Florida swing, so you're not going to have any other chances to use him.
Exactly. If you don't use Keith Mitchell in Florida or at a team event, when are you going to use him? So that will do it for this week's Betting Pros PGA podcast. Come join us again next week for our betting preview of the CJ Cup, Byron Nelson. Until then, so long, everyone.